He's a player of many talents, but this is going to be a tough game here for Canada. The United Kingdom, they took South Korea to the limit in many of those matches that we saw earlier today. Draw after draw, fight after fight. And if they've had a little bit of time to regroup, I do think the United Kingdom might be coming in here with a bit of an edge.
Certainly, they have been able to force that 3-3 composition, even convincing the talented South Korean team to make the switch and just take the mirror match because they couldn't win without it. So Team Canada has been a team that's been probably more resistant than anyone else to playing that 3-3 style. They really want Mangachu, Agilities, and Surefour on those classic core DPS characters. So it's really going to be about who can force their will on the match, which team is going to be able to set the pace, and Koth, this control map on Busan, is such an important place to start determining that outcome.
Now, this is interesting, of course, because this is one of these stages that is quite good for Doomfist, and Canada, this is the one area where they could be quite good versus the setup of the United Kingdom.
Definitely, but Surefour and Mangachu have the potential to pick off some of these crucial elements of the Trouble Tank setup, and with Banny on the Lucio, it'll be pretty easy for the squishier characters on Team Canada to simply run away. They can buy a lot of time in this manner for Surefour and Mangachu to find that initiation they're looking for.
Canada, of course, going. Oh, Mangachu sleeping on the job here. No, UK going on it. Nice move. Way to save Mangachu. Going to be getting out, but they have missed a lot, including a bubble. Boop and bubble used. United Kingdom still diving in, focusing on the tanks. XQC, the main person they were going for. They're not able to finish him off, but they are able to chase him out of the fight. And while that's going on, Note gets punished, and that is going to let the United Kingdom take momentum here and get first control of the point.
And the first cap comes through so quickly. The UK is already building up that percentage, moving up that objective timer. That's what this mode's all about. Now we're going to see them get up close in the choke. They want to take these fights in tight corridors. The more you let Doomfist and Sombra spread out around the map, the weaker this tank setup gets. So expect to see Fusion swinging his hammer right in this corridor.
How much harder is this for the Doomfist here, where he's not going to have the high ground steps and he'll hold the phone. Early sleep, early dive, XQC deleted. That was surgical from the United Kingdom.
Nice nade by Boombox, waits just in time for the Matrix to drop from Note. Mangachu trying to flip the point in the back, but Smex is there to contest, and the UK is just cruising upward on all their ultimate charges, on that point capture percentage. Nothing's really coming together for Team Canada. Surefour's EMP could be the start of something, though.
Well, I think you have the right of it. If the United Kingdom knows how to do anything, they know how to cruise. In fact, they might have had someone of that name on their team. Surefour, very good Sombra, in the back, waiting for the opportunity, but the United Kingdom being so aggressive that they're not really giving Surefour that opportunity right now.
Cruz is going to have to be able to dodge this EMP. He really needs that beat to get off, or Kip could save it with a rally, but this is going to be a struggle without abilities. EMP hits everybody. XQC takes the nano.
Early EMP, early pickoffs from Canada. Surefour setting the stage. Mangachu and XQC knocking it right back on down. It's still 75% for the United Kingdom, though, however, so even as Canada retakes this point, they have a long way to go.
I love this discipline from Team United Kingdom here. They're holding on to all their ultimates. Once that EMP goes off, they know that there's no chance of them really winning that team fight. So instead of committing and wasting their resources, they're just going to get another stack of ultimates. They've got 5 to work with. They're going to try and win this team fight right here and end the fight on Mecha Base.
United Kingdom, they are in such a good position. You've laid out the scenario. Let's see if they can execute. Mikey holding on to the grab. XQC jumping in early. Primal Rage is going to let him be a little bit more aggressive here, but he's going to get grabbed. Barrier, XQC, the 720 spins. Boombox out of it early. Surefour just crushing the back line, and Cruz going to go for a ride. Might actually be able to wall ride himself back on it. Oh, yeah, they're actually fighting back. He's fighting back. United Kingdom, after Cruz was knocked off, he wall rides back in. They drop the beat. I don't know if it's the best idea, but I respect the fact that they're going for it.
Well, this is the power of the Brigida. If they can't take down Kib, he can be really dangerous on the point. You see he's dropping low, but constantly getting healed up. But Mangachu back on the Hammond finds Fusions. That's a crucial pickup. He's got the Nano Boost to boot, and he's sweeping through the United Kingdom. This is a ton of objective power for Team Canada. They're building a lot of ults. That was the toughest test so far, but now the question is, can they win with this unorthodox comp? Mangachu wants to go back to Spawn, switch to something that'll be a little more effective, of course. Roadhog and Sombra already out. You do not want to play him into that.
Yeah, he's going to go back to Doom here, and Doom seems better here on the defense.
Exactly. I mean, Hammond's sort of that emergency pick, get back to the team fight, get something done, but Doomfist makes a lot more sense against this comp. Surefour setting it up, being such a major distraction, a thorn in their side here.
Self-destruct goes up, doesn't get anything. Mikey picked off early, but responded to. Banny down. Mangachu under a bit of fire here in the back. Going in, whips, unable to hit that. Meanwhile, though, Surefour doing so much work to the backhand side. No one's looking at Surefour, and he is ripping the United Kingdom apart.
Definitely frags going both ways, but as you said, Sureforce been able to charge up another EMP here. It's ready. We'll see if he chooses to drop it. They do have a potential to take another fight, and it looks like they'll probably go that route. United Kingdom, too much power on point here, but they might not expect that EMP from Sureforce. He did use it this most recent fight, so it would be easy to not realize how much damage he just did there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a case where your tanks have to be calling out. By the way, Sombra just did a lot. Sureforce over the top, drops the EMP. Canada diving in, fusions immediately removed. Canada off the play of Sureforce, riding their way back to that point. The front line of the United Kingdom absolutely demolished here. We're going to see the barrier from Canada. They invest more. They're all in on this point. Smex out of the mech, and this is looking so good for Canada right now.
Kib somehow trying to clutch us on the Roadhog, getting maximum value out of this character. Nearly forced a C9 with the Hog, but he's just coming back into the brawl. And with Fusion's back as well, the beat's dropped. UK's bringing this one back.
They're absolutely bringing it back. They bought enough time. Canada couldn't fish enough off when they had the edge. And now the United Kingdom with Fusion's back. They retake. Megachu drops in. It's not enough. The United Kingdom actually has brought this one back.
XQC forced to use Primal just to contest point, but it's so difficult for him to get through these tanks all alone. They're just trying to keep this overtime rolling, but Sureforce, he's hacked. He can't get his EMP out. Shattered, and that's Team United Kingdom taking Mega Base.
So people are wondering, is this going to be a close series? And we've only been through one round, but that round was 100-99. Doesn't get closer than that to start out a game.
I think we've got our answer. This is going to be a close one, a clash of styles. Kib on this Roadhog, making it look like the metagame. Not a character we've seen so much of, but Kib, I would say, more than anyone else in the tournament, has been making it look more than viable.
And don't forget here, guys, this bronze medal match is a best 3 out of 5, so it is another best of 5 before we go into our grand final, the gold medal game. That will be the best of 7. So a lot of Overwatch still left to play here today in the Overwatch arena at BlizzCon.
And from a player's mental perspective, I always feel that that first Koth map is critically important. You know that that final 5th map of the series will also be a Koth. So to win the first one, you kind of set the precedent that you are the control team. So United Kingdom, they certainly want to end this cleanly, coming out with that Hog Summer that was so effective last round.
They're going to come right back on out. And Roadhog, a pick that a lot of people think is a bit underpowered right now, but don't tell that to Kib because he has been devastating with it. But oh, what a hog from downtown! It doesn't get longer than that. Kib does it again. And with Sombra out of the fight, it's just pure control right now for United Kingdom, and he almost gets Mangachu just for good measure.
Close one there, but it won't matter. The United Kingdom are able to get control of the point. Team Canada, they just can't contest these heavy tanks, especially Kib's Roadhog is just so dangerous. You see XQC forced to sit on the high ground, but now Smex is challenging him. Smex, though, maybe he's overplayed his hand. Mangachu's right over the top, right on the supports, looking to get more. Has the barrage if he needs it. That's Etiva out of mech.
He's waiting for it, and yeah, Smex is out. Who's going to stop the barrage now? Who's going to eat all these rockets? And you know what? The rockets come in. Bubak's out. The hook, but Mangachu survives. 9 HP, and 9 HP is at least 8 bonus at the very end. Canada on the verge of retaking, and they do. And you know what? That DPI switch for XQC, got to respect it.
Yeah, XQC using the Primal to close that out. Sureforce is off onto the Hanzo. I didn't even notice that. He's already 85% ultimate charge. That's a really impressive team fight from Sureforce. He's going to have a tough time here, though, potentially against that Roadhog. That could be dangerous, but they need to shut down Sureforce and Mangachu. That's just too much projectile damage to deal with.
Mikey on the Sombra, EMP set up, going right to the back. Huge dive in from Fusions, highly aggressive. Now the EMP drops Mikey so low, but the trust! He knew the barrier was coming in. Healed back up, Sureforce gone. Man advantage now to the United Kingdom if they could swing back over to the point. They got very far off the point there.
The trouble with moving this way with the tanky setup is that you give Farah so much freedom. She's just been raiding damage this whole time. Now Banning has a sound barrier, and if Mangachu can get a barrage ready to combo with it, that's a devastating thing to be challenging.
Note's gonna get D-Max on Mangachu. The time back has to be soon. What a shatter from Fusions! He does it again. 3. Getting knocked down. Coalescence out from Boombox. United Kingdom will retake the point.
Kib with another hook, cleaning up Mangachu, and in that action, United Kingdom, they managed to flip the point. That's huge. Crucial to set them up, start building that objective, and come back on this city center map.
This has been very good for the United Kingdom, but again, even across the board, about to be 50-50 in the most literal sense of the term.
Certainly. Sureforce Dragon Strike almost ready, but Note's self-destruct really the only tool of note available for Team Canada. So the question is, will Kib be able to shut it down? He's in such a great position on the flank, trying to snipe Sureforce. Note though with the save.
The save right there, but Sureforce, still under pressure. Kib was hungry, comes in the whole hog. mows him right on down. The pure aggression, but you got self-destruct to your back. Barrier from Kroon, always on point. Here comes a dragon from Surefour, looking for anything here out of the spawn, not gonna get much. Coalescence from Boombox, creating space, dealing with the Mercy. Now 80% for the United Kingdom, one fight away.
We're at that sort of time threshold where the United Kingdom, they've just been racking up control percentage for this entire 85% consecutively. Canada, they need to do something. They need to get to point. And at this point, they're going to have to sacrifice a player just to get their buff. Mikey A makes a crucial mistake. Dies before the fight. Mangachu wants to barrage this, but Kib's already done banning.
He's going back, but he barrages only into the D.Va, completely denied. Specs was there and says, this time I'm going to eat every single rocket. The buffet is mine.
Mikey A ends up falling, but it doesn't matter. That instant aggression out of the United Kingdom gets them the major advantage in this team fight, and it might be securing them Busan.
Cleanup in action, overtime over, and the United Kingdom takes map 1.
Just making it look so good, especially Kib on this Hog, Mikey A on the Sombra. That ability to disable and control those dive tanks has just been so impactful. Even with a player like Note, famous for being incredibly consistent at saving his teammates, protecting them from the opponent plays. You know, he's known as that classic defensive player that enables his team, but really just not able to do it against the Roadhog and the Sombra. That's too many things for one D.Va to worry about. So Canada, they have to go back to the drawing board. How do you answer this Sombra? You need to be better prepared for the EMPs, and honestly, Kib just needs to get shut down. He's just doing too much on the Roadhog.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, you think about what we saw there, right? Where the multiple threats in play, Mangachu, even though you'd think Afar would have a lot of room, he had to worry about the D.Va, he had to worry about the Roadhog, and the two of them together, you wouldn't think of them as really a Afar counter, but man, I guess after dealing with Flood, I kind of put them on the hard mode training regimen because they were able to contain Mangachu a lot better than I would have expected.
Yeah, it didn't feel like Mangachu had that same impact on the Fire. Perhaps you're right, it is the United Kingdom's adjustment that you can really credit that map win to. But I'm just impressed by their ability to play those different styles of triple tank, right? We think of triple tank as a limited composition where, oh, this team only knows how to play this one thing, but changing just one or two characters in that composition actually forces your entire team to adjust the way they play, adjust the way they approach the game. So just because you're a triple tank team, I mean, once you're able to prove, I think, that you can play not just one variant, but 2, 3, 4 variants, that's when you become a lot harder to play against. That's why these teams, you know, Team South Korea, Team China have been so effective, because they have so many tools in the toolkit.
And don't forget, guys, your vote does matter. We're watching these great players here come together in a celebration of Overwatch. And sometimes you might want to go, you know what, I want to vote someone for MVP. Well, you know, you go to Twitter, hashtag Team Mobile MVP, favorite player, battle tag, make your vote matter.
A lot of great options this match as well as others. We got the gold medal match coming up next. So, I mean, I really feel like there's been so many breakout players that you could consider as the T-Mobile MVP for this tournament. And I don't think it's clear. I mean, a lot of times it does feel like there's that one player who's clearly having a huge impact. But there were so many players that I just never expected to be performing on this level. You know, players without that experience, you know, I thought, oh, well, they can't compete against the best in the world, you know, those proven. But this just goes to show that that up-and-coming talent is really better than you expect. People, you know, hungry to make it, grinding to the top, can actually rise through the ranks and outperform.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, look, the world is always changing. New players are coming up, and it is fun to see. But let's take a look at what next map is heading our way, where we'll see. Oh, sorry. We do have stats, actually. Highlights from map 1. Let's take a look.
Here we've got Surefour setting up an EMP. I like that he commits his translocator to this. He knows just how good that EMP is, so he's willing to risk his body to get it, and his team capitalizes perfectly. Mangachu with the nano, so dangerous on this Hammond. He's just so difficult to take down.
Yeah, he's very, very good. And of course, take a look at Kib here. Nice hook. And, you know, it's been a while since we've seen Roadhog really be this dominant. Do you think teams have been sleeping on Roadhog, or is Kib just making it look that good?
I mean, the trouble with Roadhog is that if you don't hit these hooks, you're kind of a liability to your team, but when you are hitting them, you are an incredibly high potential character. Here's Smex completely shutting down the barrage. That's great D.Va play there, textbook, really.
So, of course, with these teams, we have seen quite a bit of substitutions over the course of it, especially in Canada. Let's take a look at what subs are coming in here. And likely, yep, it's going to be Agilities coming on in. And, you know, you compare Agilities and Mangachu. Agilities, definitely someone who is very, very good with Genji. Certainly an area that Mangachu tends to lack in. But there is an upside and downside to both of these players.
Certainly, I mean, they have somewhat overlapping hero pools, as all projectile players ultimately do in Overwatch, but really I think of Agilities as this incredibly quick character. On Doomfist and Genji, he's just so consistently reliable in those fast, chaotic scenarios that really, I mean, they need to be able to win those scenarios, right? Because that's where UK has also shined. So I think Agilities makes a lot of sense, opens up that Genji to them, maybe even a Tracer or a Widow.
No doubt. Well, take a look here. Next map is going to be a hybrid map in Blizzard World. And again, if you're just tuning in late, where I understand if you want to sleep on a Saturday, normally I would too. Let's take a look at what a hybrid map is.
This is hybrid. Two teams face off as either defenders or attackers. The attacking team has a limited amount of time to first capture a payload and then escort it along a set path containing 2 checkpoints. To capture the payload, the attackers need to stand within its range for a set amount of time. Defenders can delay capture progress by also standing in range. The attackers must work together to clear away the defenders. If successful, they score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The payload only moves forward when an attacker stands near it. Defenders can delay the payload's movement by standing nearby. To get moving again, the attackers must clear away the defenders by force. If even one attacker is capturing the objective or on the payload when the time runs out, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until the attackers are either cleared away or they gain more time by reaching a checkpoint. Every time the payload reaches a checkpoint, the attackers score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The round ends when the payload reaches the destination or when time runs out. Teams switch sides each round. Whichever team scores the most points and escorts the payload farthest wins.
So we're not quite hanging the ike involved, but we are heading into Blizzard World. And this is the map choice here of Canada. So Jake, I want to know, what about Blizzard World might play a little bit more to Canada's style?
Well, if I'm Team Canada here, the reason I would pick Blizzard World, more than playing to your own style, is trying to pull your enemies out of their comfort zone. We've seen how strong the United Kingdom is on those Reinhardt setups, but on a map like Blizzard World, it can be tough to make those work on anything but last point. First and second are so wide open, there's so much high ground surrounding and flanking potential that it's really difficult to just catch up to the enemy with your Reinhardt. So potentially forcing the United Kingdom to play a dive style that they aren't quite as comfortable on, I like that play from Canada. Bring them into your wheelhouse, don't go to theirs.
So you do make sense here, because you take a look at the United Kingdom, they are going very heavy dive, but you think back to Volskaya, Kib was able to make this Hammond work very well, and okay, they're swapping. They didn't like what they see. Kib goes, you know what, I don't want to roll around, I just want to walk around with this big chain.
Interesting, they're going to go back to this Roadhog Sombra setup. Gives them a lot of possibilities to get picks more than anything. Kib, though, still, they're thinking it over. They see the comp fully now, see the enemy lineup, and going to make another adjustment. I love this high-level play right here, just deciding what they think is most effective. This, I think, is a perfect choice. The only difference between their compositions are their Moira and Rein. It's going to give them a way better brawling potential on point, and it's going to be really rough for XQC to actually challenge that death ball. Even getting close is really risky against that Brigade stun.
And what it means also is that XQC is very likely to get focused when he moves in. And he sees the danger, he's taking his time. Cruzo down early, and that means XQC going to be a little bit more aggressive. Reinhardt just going to the water, not quite, but man, was it close. In Canada now, feeling pretty good about where they're at. The United Kingdom being down to Lucio early, really limits their mobility as Penny on the opposite side just going off.
And he's picking up a ton of frags on Lucio, farming up that beat. So important here, such a crucial tool in this tankier setup. Canada making that work, I'm surprised. I think part of the problem is that United Kingdom, they have to go so far to climb that close, tight staircase just to get to these, Zenyatta's, Lucios, and Brigidas on the high ground. And you're just asking to be booped off the map at that point. So Canada playing this high ground really well, understands that they don't want to challenge the Rhine on the low ground, but up on their castle, they're a lot more powerful.
Now the scary part here for the United Kingdom heading on in, Crimso's going to have that super quick transcend to Canada. They're being highly aggro here. They're going on in. They want a good old brawl, but XQC might bit off more than he can chew. Almost falls. Doesn't have Primal Rage up. Immediately has to back up. But fusions again! Earth Shatter knocks down 3, but Crimso, because of the early Transcendence, means Canada is fine. Surefour charged up, ready to go. Grab, ready, doesn't need to use it.
It's a great reaction trance by Crimso. Everybody else dropped onto the floor, but of course, Zenyatta makes himself immune, keeps all his teammates alive. That's textbook play by Crimso. Huge shatter by Fusions, but it just doesn't matter. Completely countered.
And look at Surefour. He's going to be sneaky here with this next draft.
I like this positioning. United Kingdom has shown that they want to wrap and climb onto the high ground. So if they do the same thing again, they will pass right in front of the waiting Surefour.
Smex, how big of a brain would it be if he was able to devour Surefour's graph here? Also, one of the main victory conditions for United Kingdom as they move forward into Surefour. Coming off the side, no chance of eating that one. Picks up 3, the follow through, it's there. Self-destructed the back for good measure. Probably wasn't even needed, but hey, They didn't know that at the time. Sureforce flank, successful.
Canada doing such a great job of being conservative with ultimates. They only have to expend 2 of them. There's Zarya and D.Va ults to clean up that team fight. United Kingdom, they haven't really even been able to get their ults off. It feels like Canada always taking the initiation, beating this composition by controlling the pace of the fight. If Fusion is able to actually get on point and get Mikey A to high energy, things could get dicey for Canada, but so far Canada has just prevented that win condition flawlessly.
Mikey A moving in, grab ready, staring down Note, almost daring him to go for the eat, holding on to it, barrier used by both teams. Everyone feeling the music here, and grab coming out, but no one caught. Oh, Crimzo kind of floats on into it, but doesn't really matter. Mid-transcendence, gets blown away by self-destruct, but hey, still alive. Prayer, pretty powerful. Boombox gonna do some praying himself. The United Kingdom still at full, still with a little bit of rally left. Surefour gonna fall early, and they are turning this fight to their favor.
We see Mikey A high energy with that full armor stack, courtesy of Kip. This is where they really start to hit their power peak, and you can see no one's able to contest Boombox. He's free firing in the backline, putting Disco whatever he wants it. This will be a capture for the United Kingdom, but you gotta give props to Canada. That's an insanely well-played defense to make it last that long. I mean, United Kingdom without really much time to spare at all here.
Well, the general rule for hybrid maps is that if you can burn 2 minutes off the clock for your first defense, you're feeling pretty good. If you burn nearly 4 minutes off, you're feeling great.
Interesting too, Surefour elects to stay on the Zarya. He is at 90% Graviton, so I don't hate the decision. That Graviton can be such a powerful ultimate, but it's not clear to me how they're actually going to be able to clean up the grab. No, doesn't have his self-destruct up yet, and it's not going to be so easy to get that against the Reinhardt.
United Kingdom looking to get a little bit of momentum. To your point, here Mikey, Graviton up early, XQC nowhere to go, immediately focused, Agility's following right after, and that is a quick team fight win for the United Kingdom. But Canada, they will have some options as we go to the next fight, especially with Surefour.
Yeah, the struggle here, though, is Note, I think, really needs to get this self-destruct. I don't see any other way that they'll actually be able to kill the grab. I mean, even without support ultis, Boombox at 90, he's going to have his Transcendence by the time the grab actually comes out. Kib has a rally. I mean, they have a ton of tools to survive, so Canada doesn't have that clear DPS combo. Surefour looking like he wants to drop the grab here. Smex looks like he's ready for it, but already D-Mech, so he doesn't have to worry about that D.Va self-destruct matrix.
Crimson went down early. It's 5-on-5. Surefour definitely in a situation where he doesn't have the greatest awareness of the fight. Has to go back around. Drops the grab. Gets a few in it, self-destruct to the side, and it's enough. Picks up 2. The combo that you were calling there, Jake, that they're waiting for. But United Kingdom, they have enough here that they're going to invest more. They find Surefour. They think it's winnable, and you know what? It actually might be.
100 energy Zarya and a Zenyatta with a full armor stack. Or sorry, 100 energy Zarya and the Zenyatta with the full armor stack. Very, very dangerous combo. Very difficult to fight. Agility, though, gets aggressive, takes down his counterpart. That's a crucial opening. The sound barrier is out, though, from the United Kingdom. They want to sweep back in as the Transcendence of Crimzo ends.
Who needs a full team? Keep punching as hard as it can. Fusion drops the hammer. Met by the barrier. Mikey drops another grab. And again, they're going to get one from it, but not as much as it likes. Max loses back in Canada. Starting to bring it back the other way. XQC diving on in, and Crimzo unleashed in the back.
Both Zenyatta's just free firing here, but Crimzo does get the better of it. I think that is just a case of Canada having more ultimates in the bank. They use their Transcendence and their sound barrier. In that fight, Boombox wasn't actually ready with his own Transcendence. It wasn't quite up yet, so the final trump card ends up being Canada's. And because they win that team fight, get the opportunity to clean up, they built up a few more ultimates of their own. This is looking really rough for the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom, final opportunity, final 15 seconds, must-win fight coming up here. And you see Canada being super aggressive, but they force the Transcendence out early, and it's not enough to save Kib. Kib was not with Boombox there. So already, United Kingdom down 2, Boombox falling right after. Cruz, one of the last ones alive, just hugging the payload here, hoping for dear life. That is not happening. Canada putting the foot on the throat, and this is gonna be a hole right here on point B.
Team Canada making it work. It's not a comp we've seen much of at all in this tournament, but it looks really, really strong here with Surefour Zarya on Blizzard World. And I love that final aggressive initiation from Team Canada on that last fight. They know the United Kingdom has to flood back in. They have to run to point, so they just immediately attack that backline. That makes Boombox's trance much less effective than it would have been otherwise. We see Kib getting picked off on the Brigitte, which loses that crucial staying power on the cart. Brigitte, one of the strongest characters in an overtime scenario, just forced to fight on the objective. She's not too bothered by that, but if she goes down away from her Transcendence, there's not much she can do.
Well, not only that too, but you think about why they weren't cornered in this Transcendence is that they initiated right when they were on high ground, when some people weren't all with them, and you scare Boombox enough, a guy that is not easy to scare, by the way, into using his Transcendence early. So they don't get the value out of Transcendence that you would normally get. You don't get the idea of keeping your entire team up because people are split. And why are they split? Because you found a good moment to go on in.
Timing so critical in these compositions. Of course, Boombox, I think more than just being scared to pop the Transcendence, I mean, he's being focused down. If he dies, of course, he's not going to come back in that team fight. So he, of course, can't risk that, can't risk falling. He's forced, you know, it's really Canada taking control of the situation, putting the United Kingdom in that double bind scenario. Use your trance, we'll just run away. If you don't use it, you're going to die. So there's no good choices there for Boombox, and that's just off the back of intelligent setups by Team Canada. Looks like Team Canada, though, potentially wants to run this strat again on Blizzard World. Quite surprising here, actually.
Well, the key here for Canada is that they don't even need a fantastic offense, but they need something that is simply going to get them reliable results, because they don't have to bring this very far here, Jake, and time is definitely on their side.
Yeah, now that they have this clear win condition on second point, it's really up to them to pick the composition that's going to give them the highest percent chance to actually make it there. But United Kingdom doing a great job. Smex baiting in the lead. XQC overextended, pinned by Fusions, and completely shut down. What a big brain play from the United Kingdom.
They knew where XQC wanted to go. They did their homework, and man, did they slam it home. That was an absolute trap coming in. XQC activated that card.
I mean, it makes total sense. You see the Diva on the flank. Normally, she's just there alone, scouting for her team. You know, that forward scout. You just think there's nothing behind her. So you go chase, try to pick up some ult, and then Fusions, his whole team is right there, and they stun you down. So that's just great play for the United Kingdom. Great bash on Sherborne. Forces it back, but this is a scrappy fight. I'm expecting frags to go both ways, but Fusion somehow staying alive.
And while Sherborne was stunned, they used the opportunity to get on Crimson before Shield could come out. Really nice play coming up from the United Kingdom. Aggressive, taking the match by their own standards here. And Canada down a minute.
I'm just really impressed that Fusion somehow lived through that. I mean, it felt like so much pressure was going on him. He had the discard at one point, dropping under 100 HP multiple times. But Canada, fast and furious, going right back in. No more bubble, though. Nothing to stop Shatter.
Oh, he just turns the corner, drops a hammer, picks up another 3. They didn't expect it. It was a stealthy pillar.
I mean, this is why you don't traditionally see this composition played into the classic 3-3 goats. I mean, Winston does do some good cleaving damage, but he's just not so good at actually finishing off a character like Reinhardt. I mean, that hammer is just a devastating amount of damage if you can't burst the Rein.
And now, Fusion's not going to have an Earth Shatter here, but is going to have a grab for the next fight. And oh, they're going straight in. Sherborne, they want Iceland here. They're rallying. Kim goes, I set one in the water.
Benny puts two in the water.
In the water. You are in the water. Benny turns the tables, and suddenly Canada has a free road to point A.
United Kingdom getting way overconfident there, way too deep into the spawn, and absolutely crushed by Benny. Perfect boop, understands that overcommitment is coming through, and this is so rad for the United Kingdom. I mean, Canada winning first point, they still have almost all of their critical ultimates available. Let's see the point from Benny's perspective.
Oh man, when you go from bloodlust to just simply dumped in the water. Yikes.
Oh, and here we see another grab combo coming up from the United Kingdom. They're going to pick up 2 with it, but the card's already rolling. This is going to be of limited effectiveness, especially as Sherborne finds 2 frags of his own. Now the United Kingdom, far from their spawners, they're going to have to retreat and regroup. Canada, they're playing right next to their spawn. They're not even worried about the fact that their teammates are dead.
And the scary thing here for the United Kingdom is that Canada can get progress without winning any fights here. It very likely could be a 1-fight margin in about another minute and a half, which is still going to leave them with 2 minutes to get that fight. United Kingdom must be perfect. They dive on over. Fusions healed up just in the nick of time. He got low. They wanted it real bad there, but now he's healed back up. He has the shatter, drops it again. This just keeps happening. Gets the slam onto Benny at the very end. Fight though, not over yet. Canada finding a way to the back line. Even as Fusion's swinging, Fusion himself goes down, and Canada is doing it.
They just can't finish off Sherborne in these fights. No one's able to focus him down, and he's constantly on 100 energy. He's got a Graviton to work with. XQC's got the Primal. Node's got the Self-Destruct. Tank ultimates are the most important ultimates in the game to close out a fight, and Canada has all 3.
Sherborne in the flanking Zarya position. This, of course, so deadly. And oh, they get Fusions early. They drop the grab. 2 pickoffs for Canada. Easy mode in progress here to the final fight because of great ultimate usage. Specs tries to buy a little bit of time, but it's just not going to be enough. The disruption is there, and Canada saying, we're not going to go down so easy here. We're going to go back on Blizzard World, and we're going to even up the series 1-1.
Canada proving the validity of their composition here on Blizzard World. Maybe it was a bit of an overextension there on first that led United Kingdom to lose that point, but that just goes to show the level of punishing that these teams are willing to do. I mean, if you go a little bit too far out of the spawn, I mean, you're going to be punished. You can't be fighting in those unfortunate locations, right? That's not the place you want to be challenging Banny on the Lucio. Right next to the water? I don't think so.
Yeah, you certainly have to respect the boop, and that simply was not the case. But guys, we still got another half of great Overwatch to go. We'll be right back after the break.